Hey guys, it's Nick the Booksmith. Welcome back, welcome back. Sorry it has been so long since I have uploaded anything. We were running new internet cables, so my internet was on and off and on and off, but we were working, so I didn't have the chance to get anything uploaded. I'm still catching up on emails and messages, so I apologize if I have not gotten to yours yet, but I will show you what I was working on, kind of on and off in between. There are books in my personal library, reference books, that I love to keep on hand as a resource. And for me personally, as you may have guessed, I enjoy a real book as opposed to a digital Kindle style book. I tend to get lost, and that I know that sounds ridiculous, but in an ebook or an EPUB, I tend to get lost. I'm very visual, and so when I'm looking at a book or a magazine or whatever it is, I always know, okay, well, if this references something, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I just read a little bit about that, and I know where to go back to, whether it was toward the end or toward the beginning or wherever that was, because I'm visual and I have my bearings and I know where I am spatially. But with an ebook, it just confounds me. Then it becomes math because, okay, I'm on page 121 and I think I was on, see, it becomes math, and you guys know me in math, so Long story longer, I decided to fix up some of the books in my library. One of the ones was this one, and this one was an ebook that I was able to download, and a lot of libraries have this online to download, and it is The Whole Art of Marbling. The original was published in 1881, 1887. It was in the 1880s sometime, and it's fabulous. It's fabulous. Let me set this one aside. It's not a huge book. I don't even think it's an inch wide. I printed it out on some cotton rag paper that Suzanne sent me. Thank you, Suzanne. Now you'll see what I use this paper for. And I did the end sheets in some of the hand marbled paper because I had to, because it's about marbling, right? The cover is a linen book cloth in this lovely toasty oatmeal color. I splurged, and since it wasn't a really big book, it wasn't, you know, horribly expensive. But on the cover, I did a little inset with a double layer book label, and the back is a piece of the marbled paper from the end sheets. And then I made this gold foiled label on top. And in order to make this gold foil label, let me grab it. I used one of the We Are Memory Keepers Freestyle Pens, and you can buy all kinds of gold foil. We Are Memory Keepers has like tons and tons and tons and tons of heat activated foil in colors. This was the little roll that came with the pen. And there are 3 tip sizes, and this is the blue one. I don't know. There's other colors, so this one's the blue one, baby blue one, so whatever one that one is. Anyway, I only have one, so I don't know. It's that one. And so I was able to make that on a scrap of other book cloth that I had, just because I wanted to stand out a little bit better. I didn't want it to blend into the cover, so that's why I kind of did that layering technique. I haven't done anything on the spine as of yet. I may. I just haven't yet. I did some precious little headbands, little stripedy headbands. But this book, well, it's about marbling. You may have guessed, but it's kind of fabulous. What is special about this particular edition of the book is the fact that it goes through colors, well, especially what they used back in the 1880s. But then there are pages of examples. And I have actually seen one of these books in person, and that's where I think I fell in love with it. I think there's 32 or 34 pages of samples. So what I did is I printed out the pages without the samples on them, and then I printed the samples separately and cut them out and then adhered them to the pages where they go. And the reason I did that was because I still wanted the feel of the sample in the book. The book that I saw had real samples. They were real marbled paper samples. These are printed, which is fine, because I wanted to see the author's original samples. I do want to make one of these books again, but with my own marbled paper samples in each of the plates. It's on the bucket list, right? But I thought it was important to have the book as is first. I was looking for one to purchase, actually, online, because of course they don't print these anymore. But the cheapest one I could find was about $700. So they make two different editions of this book. One of them is this one with the over 24 samples pages in it. And then there's one that's truncated with, I think it's like maybe 10 or 12 samples. And you can get that one for half the price that you can get the original edition for. I just decided to make my own. I thought, well, I am a bookbinder. I suppose I could make my own. And since it's in public domain, you can print it out. And there it is. So now I have my own copy of this fabulous book. Even just a copy of a copy of a digital kind of makes me happy. Of course, this was over 100 years ago, so things are a little bit different, but not a whole lot. Techniques are the same, but sometimes supplies change because, you know, we don't use the toxic stuff that they used to use. But anyway, I wanted to show this to you. Of anybody, you guys would appreciate the project, get a kick out of it. So yeah, so there is that little book. So I made my own little textbook. Then I had ordered a book, but it was a paperback, which is fine. But I thought, well, it could be a hardback. So what I did was I just bound it into a hardback cover, and I covered it with this lovely navy, really velvety soft. It's called, what's this book cloth called? It's called, I think velvet is in the term. It's real soft and it's matte. It's not shiny. I think that's why I like it so much. The back is just plain, but on the spine I did the title, and I just put my initials as the bookbinder. And what the labels are made out of were some of the paste papers that I made, and this was with the dictionary pages. So I thought that would be pretty, and I used the silver foil that I had I have a little tiny pack of that. So I used some silver foil for these. And then the last video where we made the metallic trim tape, I used some of that to make a border around the edge, and then also some stripes on the spine. So on the inside of this one, I used placemats from Pep & Press, and they come in a pack of paper, so don't laugh, because I think they're kind of pretty. And they work great as end sheets. But this is a great resource book. It covers a little bit of everything, but not real in depth about anything in particular. It was written in the 60s. You'll be able to tell that by the photography in the book. I love the look of the photographs anyway. But there's a little girl in here I wanted to show you. She's adorable. Here she is, Mommy's little bookbinder. She cute. She's adorable. Okay, so this book was fairly simple to put together. I did it a lot like I did that little miniature dictionary. The binding was tight, so I just left it alone. It was not a sewn binding. It was a glued perfect binding with just single sheets. But it was nice and tight, so I just left it alone. But this is kind of a great little resource. I found this online at one of the used book websites. So there's like Abe Books, there's Thrift Books, Better World Books. There are some of those websites that have free shipping on a lot of things. So I think this book was like, I don't know, like $4 or $5 and no shipping. So that's great. So it's kind of a no-brainer to add this to my reference library because it was just inexpensive. And so that's why I took the time to go ahead and bind it, make it last a little bit longer. This is another book in my reference library. I have not done anything to this. This book came just like this, but it's fine. The binding it's not perfect, but it's still solid. It's stable, I should say. It's stable. So this one is called Glossary of the Book, and it is like an encyclopedia of book binding terms. This is a pretty great book. If you have a question about a certain kind of book or binding or a tool or something like that, it'll be in here. I can pretty much guarantee it. And another thing that's great about this book is that it has, like that marbling book that I showed you with the sample pages, this one also has tipped in example pages. So this picture is great. It is a reproduction in 2-color halftone. The yellow, which it's kind of an orangey yellow, and this navy blue here. Scoot you in a little bit here. Not too far. So this entire photograph right here was printed with these 2 colors. That's it. And then this one, so the primaries and black. And look at the different range that they got even in 1960, I think it's 9. It was 1969. But printing practices, even though there is modern technology and equipment, it's still pretty cut and dry as far as how the process is accomplished. So even though this book is well older than I am, it is still relevant and valuable, and it kind of rocks my socks. I'm not gonna lie. But I wanted to show you the other. There's some more. Well, there is marbled paper in here. So there is a sheet of real marbled paper samples, and you could probably see that these are glued on. And these are from the Cockerell Marbling Company in London. Basically one of the leaders, the grandfathers of paper marbling. I am giddy to have samples, so that just kind of makes me happy. And look at this gorgeous thing. So this is an offset reproduction, and it is printed on this lovely, lovely, thick, smooth paper stock. But anyway, I just thought I would show you some of the books in my personal reference library. Lots. These are probably my 3 favorite. My workroom is a mess right now because we had to run the new lines, and so I had to move stuff out of the way, and now it's all in the middle of the room, and it's kind of making me crazy. So I'm gonna have to pick a moment and get everything put away. And of course, it's one of those things where it's like, well, while I'm at it, I might as well organize. I'm not just gonna go shove it in a corner somewhere, which is my standard MO when I'm in the middle of a project or something like that. It's like, oh, just get it out of my face. I just don't want it in my face. The visual clutter of it is making chaos in my brain. I don't know if anybody else out there is like that. I will make a horrific mess. I will decimate this room, decimate it. But it will get to a point where if I'm finding I don't have room to function, I have to clean it all up. And I don't just clean up one little spot usually, unless I'm in the middle of a project. If I'm in the middle of a project, whatever is in my immediate area will get cleaned up. But when I'm done with that project and it is in the books, then the whole thing gets just like a spring cleaning. Everything gets put away. vacuumed and dusted and everything so that I have a fresh slate to start with again, because if it's too cluttered, my brain gets distracted by that and won't focus on anything creative. It just gets distracted by the crazy wow. I would watch, there was a show that used to be on the BBC. I don't think it's on anymore. It was these two ladies that would go to people's houses, and they were filthy, and they would clean these houses, and they would teach the people how to clean, and I don't remember what it's called. I think it was clean your house, or anyway. I would literally get anxiety, but it was like, it was so rewarding to see the place clean at the end that I would make myself, you know, at least glance at it every once in a while to see how progress was going. Are they doing good? Are they doing good? That's just a little peek into my psyche. You're never gonna wash that out, right? Someday we'll have to talk about ADHD and working with that, or despite that, finding a creative moment and going with the creative hyper-focus. And then what do you do when you hit a wall? What do you do when all of a sudden your motivation just, it was there and then somebody flushed it down the toilet and it's just gone? So now what happens? All right, guys, well, I will let you go for now. This was just a quick, hey, how you doing? I'm still alive. I promise I'm still here. I do have internet now, so yes, I'll be able to catch up on emails and messages, that kind of thing. We've been also dealing with a forest fire that is just west of town, and all last week it was so smoky that the air was like this peachy, hazy, thick, awful. You couldn't be outside for more than a couple of minutes and you're just choking. So if anybody had asthma or anything like that, they were not even supposed to go outside at all. And if you didn't have lung issues, you would get them if you went outside. So that kind of slowed us down in getting everything, you know, put back together, and it was an ordeal. But the winds have shifted and the fire is going away from us now. So it is burning in the other direction. And from what I'm told, at least last report, was that it is burning a lot of parts of the forest where the pine beetle had come in and had killed a bunch of trees. They were gonna let it burn where it was burning because it was just burning out that beetle kill. So that's what I was told. Hopefully it won't get any bigger. Maybe it'll burn itself out. We could use some rain, so if any of you guys have any extra rain that you'd like to get rid of, just send it our way. We would appreciate it. Trade you some gummy bears for some rain. How's that? Okay, guys, big hugs from me. I will see you with another project really, really soon in the next video. Bye, guys.